For years, everyone believed that Daniel Hart was the most successful man in the town. He owned a large publishing company, lived in a beautiful old house overlooking the river, and rarely spoke about his past. People admired him because success always seemed to follow him. But appearances have a strange way of hiding the truth. When Daniel suddenly passed away at the age of 72, his daughter Emma returned home for the first time in almost 10 years. Their relationship had never fully recovered after her mother died. She expected the funeral to be uncomfortable. She didn't expect a mystery. While sorting through her father's office, Emma discovered a sealed envelope with only 3 handwritten words, "For the right person." Inside was an old library card from a small town several hours away, along with a faded photograph of a young woman smiling beside a bicycle. On the back of the photo, someone had written, "Some debts cannot be repaid with money." Emma couldn't stop thinking about it. Who was the woman, and what debt had her father carried for decades? Curiosity eventually overcame grief. She traveled to the small town and visited the old library. The librarian, an elderly man named Arthur, looked at the library card and quietly smiled. "I've been wondering," he said, "if someone would finally come." Arthur explained that nearly 50 years earlier, Daniel had been a poor university student who couldn't afford tuition. Every afternoon he studied in that very library. One day, a local teacher named Eleanor noticed him reading the same borrowed books over and over again. Without telling Daniel, Eleanor secretly paid his tuition. She asked for only one promise. "When you succeed," she said, "don't repay me. Help someone who will never know your name." Daniel kept that promise for the rest of his life. Arthur opened an old cabinet and removed a notebook filled with names. Every year, Daniel had quietly paid scholarships for students across the country. None of them knew who their sponsor was. Some became doctors, others became teachers, engineers, artists, or scientists. Emma stared at the notebook. Her father had never spoken about any of this, not once. On the last page was one final message, written in Daniel's careful handwriting. "The world remembers loud achievements. It survives because of quiet kindness." For the first time in years, Emma cried, not because she had lost her father, but because she realized she had never truly known him. She returned home carrying the notebook. A month later, she sold part of the publishing company and created a scholarship in Eleanor's name. Like her father, she refused to put her own name on it. Sometimes people asked who funded the program. She simply smiled. "Someone who understood," she answered, "that the greatest gifts are the ones that ask for nothing in return." And perhaps that was Daniel's greatest inheritance, not his company, not his wealth, but the quiet courage to do good even when no one is watching.